Thank you. I so appreciate you. And I'm just so excited to be here again this week with Breakfast with Champions with Facebook for Coaching Cocktails and Conversations, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We're going to have some juicy conversations. Listen, we have a power half an hour coming to you. And today's topic is how to help others to help you. Now, if you've been here for the last couple of, I like to call them sessions, hangouts, whatever you want to call them, if you've been here, then we've talked about things like how to use your pull to power your push. We've talked about how to leap over fear. We've talked about how to walk in clarity, confidence, and commitment. We've talked all of the things right here. And so if this is the first time that you are meeting me, I want to say, hey there. I am Lolita E. Walker. I'm a certified life leadership and executive coach. I am a power speaker, TEDx speaker, mommy, author, all of the things. But here, when I come to you for this power half an hour, I like to bring you a little bit of coaching cocktails and conversations. That's what I like to call it. And so coaching is all about where I just leave you with a couple nuggets to challenge your thinking. It's no pressure. You grab what you can, you leave what you can. It's super easy peasy. Cocktails is really about celebrating the greatness of who it is that you are. So every now and then I'll give you a cheers to Mary Lynn and Monica, who decided that guess what? We're coming back together. We're gonna launch this coaching in a new type of way. We're gonna bring you nuggets, these 4 agreements, things like that. That type of nuggets to get you going. And then conversations is the juiciness that we have. So today's topic is how to help others to help you. How do we help others help us? And oftentimes, here's the thing, we don't even ask, right? We don't ask for a lot of reasons. So today, when you leave here today, this is the teacher inside of me, the educator inside of me. But when you leave here today, what I'd love for you to leave with is some strategies on how you can increase your clarity, confidence, and commitment to allow others to help you in your goals and your dreams and your aspirations and your walk, talk, and how you behave differently every day. So whether you're doing this at work, whether it's at home, whether it's at school, wherever the places are, I want to make sure that you're armed with how exactly do I help others help me? Well, I want you to leave with a couple strategies today. So that's what we're going to talk about. And typically I do it based on acronyms, but today I'm just going to take you through, I think, about six key strategies. And hopefully you all will be able to engage, whether it is in my comment section and I'll read them out loud, whether it is in the chat on Clubhouse, or whether it is that you come off mic at any time during me talking. If you get an aha moment, it's no problem at all. So I want to just dive deep in because I want to make sure we can make the best use of our power half an hour. So again, we're talking about how do we help others help you? And as I was thinking about this, I'm like, Lolita, in my own life, or even when I'm working with clients about helping them help others, sometimes it's just recognizing where we're going. Like, what is it that I even want to ask for? Does it make sense to ask anybody for it? Well, the first thing that I have for us to really show up in is blueprinting what success looks like for us. Blueprinting what success looks like for us. So you got to have a goal in mind. Is it that I want to blueprint until the December 31st of this year? Is it that I want to blueprint until December 31st of next year? Is it that I even just want to blueprint this month? Or maybe it's just this week. Maybe I'm just even trying to do it for this day. What is the timeline looking like? And here's the juiciness of today's conversation, you guys, is that you can do it right now. So if you have your coaching cocktails and conversations notebook, if you don't have it, it's at lolitawalker.com/shop. But just grab a sheet of paper if you don't have that, right? You can get that later. But inside of there, I want you to just take the opportunity to have your mind flow around these strategies I'm going to share with you today because you can apply them today. Let's just start thinking together. A brain think, a group think is what it is. A brain dump for group think. Blueprint your own success. So by when I'm going to do what and for what reason. By when I'm going to do what and for what reason. So by December 31st of 2023, I will do what for what reason. Start to blueprint what that looks like. Start to understand your why on what that looks like. Don't forget today, we're really just talking about how exactly we are going to help others to help us. Okay. I want to empower others to be able to help me on my journey. And here's the thing is that as you continue to go, you'll recognize that you're growing at the same time. I'm growing as relation to meeting each and every one of you all. I'm growing based on the comments that you leave me. I'm growing based off listening intently. I'm growing every single day. I'm increasing my own clarity, confidence, and commitment. And so, even as you heard those four agreements, even as you heard the four agreements, like, how are you applying this to you? How are you shaking yourself up a little bit differently? And today I want to empower you to do that. So the first strategy is blueprinting what success looks like. And I gave you this strategy for by when I'll do what for what reason. I use it all the time. And my Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat, I'll be using it all the time. And it's really, in essence, to help you to think with a bit more clarity, to drive what success looks like and why it's so important to you. So whether or not you're talking about a week, a month, a year, next year, blueprint what that looks like. So let's think about the blueprint. Some people call it a pathway. So if you think about this blueprint, this master list to get you on your way, think about walking this journey. And sometimes I even draw it as a path. Sometimes I even draw it as a blueprint. I'm an industrial engineer by trade, and sometimes I even draw it as a blueprint, because sometimes we're going to have to turn left, turn right. And what does that look like? Recognizing pictorially that there will be obstacles on my path. So for me, I love to draw it that way. I love to draw it that way so that I can see what's outside might be a distraction, or that it's okay that there's so much other space. So I don't have to be rigid to this. Whatever floats your boat to help you drive clarity at each of the steps that's going to get you there to where it is you want to go, that's what we want to do. So inside of what you're writing down today for blueprinting your own success, let's just start with by when I want to do what and for what reason. And if you're comfortable, you can leave it in the chat. If you're comfortable, you can decide to come off mic and say, hey, Lolita, I'm thinking about mine. If you're comfortable, you can send me a message. And that's great too, at Hey Coach Walker on Instagram, or follow me on all of the places. All right, we're going to keep on going. Again, we're talking about how do I help others help me? Well, the first thing is you got to get clear. You got to get clear. If I'm going to succeed, if I am going to elevate beyond where I'm standing right now, I got to get clear on what it is I'm looking for, so that then when I have my ask, then I know exactly what it is I'm asking for, who it is I'm navigating around, what it is I'm going to be doing. Listen, we have, according to Lolita E. Walker, we have these 11 aspects of life. The point is that there's many aspects of life. I'll be talking at my retreat coming up, but these 11 aspects of life, and in that, things like occupancy, things like your home, things like your health and your wellness, there's these aspects of who it is that you are, according to Lolita E. Walker. And so when you get clear, even looking at one of those aspects or two of those aspects, of course, they're all important because they make you who you are. But when we drive clarity, we're blueprinting what success looks like in one or two of those key areas for you. All right, let's keep going. The second strategy, now that you've blueprinted it, you got a little bit of clarity on about when I'm going to do what for what reason. Now we want to increase this confidence. We want to just start talking about it. We want to start talking about it. And that is part of the scary parts, right? Oh my gosh. That is a scary piece, to start communicating your dreams out loud, because sometimes it comes with judgment. Sometimes it comes with judgment of ourselves. Sometimes it comes because we think that this thing is so big that we feel like, oh my gosh, which is why in the beginning, what I talked to you all about is blueprinting what this looks like and being time bound on it. Now, some people will argue that I don't want to be time bound, but today I am encouraging to be time bound on helping others to help you in what that looks like, so that we can gain that clarity, that confidence, and that commitment. I hope you're still with me. I love that. Somebody said, great morning, my dear friends. Great morning to you too. I don't know your name because it didn't come across, but hey, thank you for joining the Facebook group today. Good morning. Good morning. Communicate, communicate, communicate. This is increasing your confidence. So when you start communicating this blueprint that you're talking about, because I forget who said it this morning, but I think it was Tracy, talked about posting it up. Y'all know I'm a fan of posting up your hopes, your dreams, your vision, your blueprint of where it is that you're going, for so many different reasons. And so what I want to encourage you today is, now when your blueprint's up, now you can start communicating. Okay. You can start talking about, guess what? By the end of this month, I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z. Right. Sometimes helping other people help you in this strategy right here is all about communicating what that looks and feels like to you, where it is that you're going, because somebody listening in is willing to be like, oh my gosh, guess what? I know somebody who can leap in right there and help you on that. Y'all already know the story I'm about to tell. I feel like you guys can tell it already yourselves when I started my doctoral journey. But let me give you another one. Somebody leaked in because I kept saying it over and over again to the point that I didn't even realize how much I was saying it. I didn't even realize that the time was now until somebody said to me, Lolita, you keep talking about it. It was Dr. Sean Shapiro. I talk about him all the time. Did you apply? Sometimes it's the communication of where it is that you're going for somebody to be able to jump in. Just the other day, I was at a fireworks event, and I was talking to this woman about growth in small business. This is such a true story. Growth in small business. And she was talking about this small company that she works for and how it started with 2 people and now it has 65 people and how amazing it is. And how she was talking about how they need to start building these processes and systems. Hello. I'm an industrial engineer by trade. So we started talking about where their gaps were. We started talking about what is it that she sees. We started talking about, oh, well, wait a minute. So when I was working in corporate doing this industrial engineering work, these are some of the steps that I would encourage you to take in order to start to leap. Then we started talking about my retreat. Then we started talking about women being burned out. Then we started talking about growth. It just is a cycle. Continue to have these conversations. And then what is it in your skills and strengths that now you can leverage to do this better? That's one of the strategies that I'm going to get to eventually. But what is it in your strengths and your skill sets that you can start to leverage? So, for instance, you already mapped this out. You already have strengths that you already bring to the table. So, one of the things you want to think about is, for me, for instance, I'm an industrial engineer by trade. That is continuous improvement all of the time. That is understanding where gaps are. That's getting to the root cause. That's being effective and efficient. That's dealing with human capital. That's dealing with moving efficiency and effectiveness, like man to machine ratios, things like that. So if I am good already at understanding where the gaps lay inside of a process and being able to improve that, then why can't I help to improve communication? That's the strategy right here. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Increase your confidence, right? Yes, because you already possess the skill sets and the leadership in order to bring your blueprint to life. You just need help. Today, we're talking about how do you help others to help you communicate it so that now they can start to hear it. And in this communication, it's not just blabbing the whole world. It's really about what the timing, being specific on the help that you need, being open, and then being concise. Okay. The timing, being specific, being open, and then being concise with your communication, right? Understanding your surroundings. Oh, so good. I love this. Next, we are going to go into the third strategy. The third strategy that I want to talk to you all about today in an effort to help other people to help us is to listen and assess, right? So we have our blueprint. It's already posted. We can see it. For me, it looks like a pathway, or it really looks like a blueprint, maybe even of a factory, so that now I can see, for me, the outside spaces and knowing that I can go in, I can go out where necessary, but I can see where distractions may lay. Whatever yours looks like, that's the blueprint that we have. And what is the sentence I gave you? It is, I will do what? So by when and for what reason? By when I'll do what for what reason? By when I'll do what for what reason? We're starting our blueprint. And then we're going to communicate what that thing looks like, because in that blueprint, clearly we're going to have some milestones in order to get us where we want to go. And here's the thing, is that our vision, sometimes you see your vision and you think that it's so far away. You can kind of see a light sometimes and you're like, oh, I see a light on where I want to go. Or you might get discouraged because your dream is that big, which is why I encouraged you. Don't forget, at the beginning is to make it time bound, right? You want to stretch, but make this thing time bound. Then after we do that, now we want to listen and we want to assess. Now we want to listen intently, because that's so important. We want to listen intently as we continue to do the work. We're communicating, we're doing the work at the same time. But as people come into our lives, we want to listen, and it's okay to listen and then assess where it is that you are. Once you're doing the work, you can assess what is happening right there. I love that. Dr. Jeannie said, I will do what, by when, for what reason, the blueprint. Absolutely, Dr. Jeannie. Good morning. Good morning. It's so good to have you here. I will do what, by when, and for what reason. I use it all of the time, and it's so good. Dr. Jeannie said, yes, it's so simple and so powerful. It's so simple and so powerful. It is. Write it down, you guys. Write it down. Next is listen and assess. We talked about that. So now you want to listen and you want to assess. I hope that you're thinking about something that is happening in your life right now. I hope that you're thinking about your goals by when I'm going to do what and for what reason. I hope now as you sit right here, you're really like, what if I just did it for this month? It's the start of the month. What if I did it for the remainder of this year? What if I even looked into next year? And I look at my future self and I see myself standing right there. What is it that I'm doing? What is it that I'm being? We did the exercise before. If you missed that about your future you and interacting with your future you, go back, listen to the podcast, either for Breakfast with Champions, where I'm a co host, or on my podcast, Coaching Cocktails and Conversations. Okay. Find the one that we talked about, a powerful future you, and do the work that's in there. In my first book, The Intersection of You and Change, there's soul work in there to help you on your journey, to help you navigate these places and these spaces, whether it's forgiveness freeway, whether it's clarity cul-de-sac, like all of these different stops you can have along this road, journey junction, all of these things to help you to challenge yourself to think differently. We want to listen, we want to assess, we want to do our work in our quiet moments. I love that. I love that this discussion is happening right here. And make sure you go back and listen to the replay if you just got here. Next, of course, in our last 15 minutes that we have together, we want to adjust accordingly. Sometimes the plan goes off. Sometimes you end up on the right. And you're like, how did I get all the way over here? What happened that I got all the way over here? What happened that I stopped the work that I said that I wanted to do? What happened when it's 5 years after I started my business and I have yet to go back and look at a strategic plan for where it is that I am and where it is that I said I was going? When was the last time that I did that? When was the last time that I sat and said, oh my goodness, I'm in school right now, but that's not going to be forever. So in 5 years from now, this is where I want to be. This is where I will be. This is where I'm standing up and standing tall. And so in the process of this school, what is it that I'm doing? Who is it that I'm bringing in? What moves am I making? Where am I standing? Right? Because you have a blueprint, because now you're getting clear. Sometimes life happens and life will scoot you all the way to the side. Life will scoot you all the way to the side. Yvette Searson said, this goes well with the how can I be better today? Exactly, brings detail to it. Early on, Yvette Searson was talking about she writes on a mirror and she says, how can I be better today? And she encourages people to do that. Absolutely. I'm a fan. I write on all the mirrors at my Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat because there's something about when you look inside of a mirror and you can really talk to yourself in that moment outside of putting on makeup, outside of the quick, let me look, make sure I'm dressed okay. No, really stand tall and be intent in looking in the mirror and looking at yourself. I tell this story to the women at my Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat. I don't know if I've told you guys before, but I remember when I first started doing mirror work. And I remember going into the mirror, like, let me see what this thing is. And I remember just looking in the mirror and standing there. I don't know if this has happened to anybody else, but as I was standing there, I'm looking in the mirror literally, and I start crying. Because who takes time to just look at yourself in your eyes in the mirror? And I hadn't done that. And I started looking at myself, and now I do it all the time. I started looking at myself and just looking at features of myself. I started looking at myself and found myself thinking about what it is I'm doing, the goals that I have, where it is that I'm standing, the failures that I've had. All of that stuff just started coming before me, and tears just started coming out of my eyes. I had never taken the time to look in the mirror and stand there, let alone talk to myself in the mirror. I want to encourage you to be the power that you are and take that time. So, yes, how can I be better? Let's just start with the man in the mirror. That's a real thing. Let's just start with looking at yourself in the mirror. Start there. And then you talk to yourself. Today, I am declaring. I love that Yvette Searson said, how will I be better today? So you could start with that. You could start with, guess what? Today will be a great day because by the end of today, I will have done this. By the end of today, I will be back right here, Lolita, looking at you, talking about the amazing win that I am going to claim today. Whatever that is, start inside of that moment. I love it. Sandra, welcome. She said, this is a comeback school. Scoot. This is a comeback scoot. I love it. And then Yvette Searson came back and said, gotta get to that renewal retreat this year. Absolutely. I can't wait for you to be there. It's September 14th through the 17th. And so head on over. Well, Yvette, you can just text me on Facebook. I'll put the information there. If there's somebody that's there on Facebook and Coaching Cocktails and Conversations, feel free to leave it. It is lolitawalker.com/shop, and then you'll find it right there. If you're in Clubhouse right now, you can just click on the top link. I would absolutely love to see you all there. You can send me a message and we'll make sure you guys get that information. So good. So Tracy said, we should all take time to look in the mirror. Michael Jackson said it best. You are absolutely right. I love, Linnell, that you are writing these down. Thank you so much. Hey, Trish, so good to see you. V said, this is awesome. Lolita is giving serious advice. Yes, here's the thing. We've all been there, and sometimes we've got to shake it up in order to make sure that we are going to move. Right? Sometimes we find ourselves, including Lolita E. Walker, sitting in the power of complacency, like literally. Now, there's a difference between sitting in the power of complacency and really just relaxing. For the last couple of days, I haven't been as productive as I absolutely want to be, but you got to know that that's okay. I put my feet up, I watched TV, I slept, right? But in a normal day, I would be, even during that course of the time, I was like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be doing something. I have so much work I need to do. Allow yourself to breathe. It's okay. The work will be there tomorrow. But sometimes it's because we're not clear on where it is that we're going. Oh, I was talking to somebody. This is such a true story too. I was talking to somebody yesterday, right? And I'm always like, oh, you seem so busy. And they always say, no, productive. And so yesterday I said, well, what is the difference of how you see it between productivity, like being productive, and being busy? And they said, well, being busy is you're just everywhere. You're just doing stuff. You're just doing stuff. You're just out there in the wind, I think is what they said. And then they defined productivity as being clear on a plan. I am working with intention. I am working to be productive in the moments that I have today. I'm not just busy, right? And so, however you define it, make yourself productive. If busy is how you define productive, then busy yourself, but know that it's okay to make a pause. Okay. I love that. So on Facebook, ever since your retreat, I've made it a point to put dates to my goals. I've tackled many of them since. I'm grateful. Hey, Soul, so good to see you. Yes. So Soul came to my retreat last year. And a number of Clubhouse users came to my retreat last year. It was so amazing to meet people in person that I've been just talking to with voice. And so what she's saying is ever since the retreat, she's made a point to put dates to her goals. Yes, I'm very much a time-bound person. And I think that when you do this, remember what we're talking about is how do we help other people help us? Well, first we get clear. And when we have that clarity, sometimes it helps to put that clarity of time right there too, because it pushes you, it drives increased ownership and accountability. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. If you've missed some of the strategies that I've been given today, we're on number 4, adjust accordingly. So when you adjust, know that it's okay to shift. Oh, and here's the other thing, you guys. On your journey, because I write a pathway. If you have been to my retreat, we have a Be Me board, a vision board that we have. And so here's the juiciness of it. Okay. You ready? Write on it, right? Write on it. When you accomplish these milestones on your way to your journey, on your way to your time bound goal, on your way there, on your way to your vision, write it down. I remember one year, I feel like it was 2018. I think it was 2018. I had on there podcast. I just had a microphone and it said podcast beside of it. And it was by December 31st of, I believe it was 2018. That was on my 2018 Beat Me board. And I remember in May, I keep saying May, so I hope it's really right. I feel like it was May. And I remember getting up and being like, why am I waiting until December to do that? I went in my office to do some work and I looked up and there was my Be Me board. And I was like, oh, podcast. Had a microphone, cute microphone. It had the word podcast across it. And I remember saying, what is making me wait until December? This is dumb. I called someone who I knew had a podcast. They told me, hey, I use Castos. These are the steps that you do. You could start it today. I was like, okay, done and done. I made my first podcast episode because you can. And when you have those things inside of your mind, inside of your space, posted where you can see it, all of these things start to drive you. Why was it important for me in 2018 to start my podcast? Well, for me, it's because I wanted my voice to be across the world. I also wanted a platform that then I can use some of my episodes to give to some of my clients so that now they can start the soul work. So, for instance, if I was working with a client right now who is struggling with having her community be able to help her, right? Or help him, whoever it is I'm working with. I primarily work with power women, but I also have some men on my roster as well. But if I'm working with whoever this person is, then I would send this to you and I'll say, hey, here's 6 strategies, right? And so I'm saying this to anybody listening in that you can leverage your platform, you can leverage your recordings to be able to gift to your clients to be able to do some work in your absence. It is a resource. It becomes a resource that people can use all around the world and can access everywhere. So leverage it. Oh my gosh, so good. Let's keep going. What time is it? Oh my goodness. So let's get through these couple. The use your strength and your skills. I already talked about that. Use your strength and your skills. So what skill sets do I bring? What degrees do I have? Industrial engineer by trade, have an MBA, so that business sense. I'm an entrepreneur. So sometimes with entrepreneurship, it's about creating and taking risks because we're able to do that. What is it that you bring to the table? And then, of course, number 6 is celebrate your wins. You guys, I'm all about celebrating wins. Celebrate your wins. And Sandra said, I love that. It helps me see my progress. Be me. Yeah, Sandra was there when we came up with the name Be Me Board. This is my Be Me board. Be me for all that I am. And there's going to be no judgment on my journey to get to where I am. All right. I love that Linnell has put in all of the strategies that I talked about today. Thank you so much, Linnell, for that. You're so great in doing that. I appreciate it. And I love that Linnell is able to even say my pleasure, so many things. So thank you so much. I love it. We have about 3 more minutes if anybody wanted to open up and chat. If not, I always have stuff to talk about. All right.
Lolita, this is Crystal. I wanna talk about something that you just said, and I think it's really important. And I don't think we do it as often as we should. And you said something, write it down.
Mhm.
Take a look what you bring to the table. And it's one thing knowing what you bring to the table, but it's a whole nother level when you actually write it down and you say it out loud.
Mhm. Oh my God, so good. You are so right. Not only writing it down, I like you even took it further is that communication piece, saying it out loud, because that's the scary part. Like sometimes we write it and we like, okay, we're taking that step and we're writing it. But then to say it out loud makes it real. Then to press that publish key when you write your book is a big deal because it makes you vulnerable. So, yes, make yourself vulnerable. And that is the step that's so crazy about it all. But imagine for all of you all have taken that step. First of all, everybody listening in right now, you have taken a step to leap already. Like you're here because you've leaped and you've done something. I could help you with exactly what it is that you've done, but you have leaped in your life before, or else you wouldn't be here right now. So because you've leaped, those moments we forget, those butterflies that were in our stomach, that kaleidoscope of butterflies that was right there, you've done it before. Do it again. There's greater on the other side for you. And I'm just excited that I'm able to bring that. So thank you so much, Crystal. Yay. Okay. Is there anybody else that wanted to jump in really quickly? Okay. So here's the thing, you guys. I left you with 6 strategies. If you're just now getting here, you missed the 6, but go ahead and listen back in because there's nothing short of power that's coming. If this was your first time listening to me, head on over to lolitawalker.com. If this is your first time hearing about my Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat, oh my gosh, you better get in where you fit in. Head over to lolitawalker.com/shop and you'll see the retreat right there. I would love to have you. You can send me a message anywhere at Hey Coach Walker. You could do it on Clubhouse, all of the places, you guys, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all of the places and spaces. I am there. So again, it was so good to chat with you guys just one more time. So with that, I'll leave with Yvette Searson said, the follow through is so important in the leap. Take care, you guys, and I'll chat you soon. Yay, Chris.